Welcome to the Manic Metallic podcast, where we respect fashion's past, analyze fashion's present, and get excited about fashion's future. I'm Liberty Imhoff, founder and creative principal of fashion media company Manic Metallic. Several times per week, I'll bring you episodes about exciting things happening in fashion, discussion about current issues facing the industry, and the places and people that have made the fashion industry great. Be sure to subscribe to our newsletter and follow us on Instagram at the Manic Metallic Podcast and at Manic Metallic, both linked in our show notes. Now, let's get into today's episode. Welcome back to the Manic Metallic Podcast. I'm Liberty, your host. I've got to say, I'm in full 2023 mode right now for the company. I've had so many ideas materializing seemingly out of thin air. My couple of whiteboards have gotten so much work that I've had to take photos of what was on them multiple times and erase them, only to fill them up again with more ideas. Now, I'm a creative person, true enough, but it's like, where have all of these ideas been before? By the way, if you hear any noise outside, it's raining, so just so you know. I'd very likely attribute my increased idea capacity to being on social media much less in recent months. It's amazing what happens when you just let yourself work and do what it is that you originally set out to do when starting your company. I originally set out to add authentically to the fashion conversation while creating products, events, and services that further Manic Metallic's goals, not to be a social media manager. Now, that encompasses a lot, admittedly, but check out the About tab on our website at manicmetallic.com for more info on our motivations as a company. But speaking of creating a company, I've been doing some thinking. Manic Metallic's goals as a fashion media company are to create audio, written, and video content that further our ethos that fashion is an art, discipline, and societal force for change. I've been thinking about this. How can Manic Metallic contribute more directly in a hands-on manner to fashion being a societal force for change? Yes, being a part of the fashion conversation with our unique voice and our current media contributions is extremely important, but how can we have more of a direct impact on change? And then I thought about this. How can I possibly use the skills and experience that I've gathered in my very unique path to the fashion industry to affect change? And then an idea popped into my head. Before starting Manic Metallic, I worked in various positions of employment that heavily involved sales, technology, marketing, and things of that nature for years. And now I've got the experience of having started a company, and being a company founder has been such a rewarding experience despite its ups and downs. Fashion is a field that many have found oppressive to attempt to enter, despite their best efforts and in some cases through no fault of their own. But yet, so many creatives love fashion and still want to give starting a fashion business a shot. So I'm going to be creating a series of products that illuminate the journey that I went through to start Manic Metallic, the tools that I've used, how I learned about fashion in the first place, and so on. If those seem to be things that our audience loves, and that seem to be bringing them value, then I will potentially begin offering more strategy-oriented products. This again is about affecting change more directly and more tangibly. How can Manic Metallic help to change society through the use of fashion? Why not help others that want to start fashion companies, but have no idea how to do so? Now, of course, there will be things that I don't know, like the specifics of becoming a fashion designer or fashion law, etc. What Manic Metallic is going to be offering up here will be tools that are foundational to many types of fashion companies. We know that oftentimes creatives just want to work on their art and fashion work without having to worry about the business side of things. And admittedly, business, marketing, sales, etc. can be intimidating. I'm learning new things every day. But I want to take what I've learned over the course of Manic Metallic's life and help others to start off their fashion businesses on the right foot. Our first product is going to center around getting you the exact tools that we use to start our fashion media company, and that we still use, while explaining what those tools are used for. Sounds easy enough, right? But you wouldn't believe how difficult it was for me to find out the right product for Manic Metallic to use for accounting, for example. or the right email marketing software to use, or the right thing to use to create our digital assets, the right cameras, the right microphones, and so on. It took hours, weeks, and sometimes even months to come up with all of this information and to then be able to set it up into a functioning business. And if you're a fashion person, you just want to get all of that searching out of the way so that you can get back to working on fashion design, or fashion media, or hairstyling, or photography. In other words, what you love to do. So did I. So I'm going to be creating this product to save you time, and so that you won't have to go through the boring and draining process of looking all of these things up on your own. Again, we joined fashion to do fashion, not to do social media management, or to be spending a week or so trying to decide which email marketing software is going to work best for your business. It's important that if you're going to start a fashion business, you do it methodically. You've got to start somewhere, and that's what I did when I made any decision on the business side of things. But isn't it that much better when you start with knowledge from someone that has been where you are now? I'm telling you right now, it is. I'm not going to get the hours, weeks, and months of time back that I spent searching for every possible pro and con of any product that I was considering using for Manic Metallic. But what I can do is save other potential and current business owners time on their journeys. Along with this first product centering around getting you the exact tools that we use to start our fashion media company, and that we still use while explaining what those tools are used for, we're going to have a couple of extras that we are adding in to give you even more help in getting your fashion business off the ground. We're working on them right now, and when they're complete, we'll let you know more about them. We're hoping to have the first product out by the end of December, but it could potentially filter into the first couple of weeks of January. Subscribe to the Manic Metallic podcast and join our newsletter linked in the show notes below to keep updated on the product's progress. We really believe in what we're doing with these set of products coming out because, again, while contributing to the discourse in fashion is very much important, I just have a craving right now to contribute to fashion and help people in a more direct and tangible manner. Again, subscribe to the podcast and the newsletter to keep getting updates about the product's arrival. In the meantime, we've created a new physical product line that's out right now. It's called the Ethos Series, and we love it already. The Ethos Series is a series that spotlights two of our company's core beliefs. 1, fashion is an art, and 2, fashion is a change agent. Right now we've got different versions of mugs, journals, and bookmarks available for purchase, and we've got a lot more to come in the near future. We love these designs because they all carry the sleek sophistication that Manic Metallic prefers for its branding. Each of these gifts would be perfect to give either yourself or the fashion-loving person in your life. We'll link to our e-commerce store in the show notes. The last thing that I want to point out for today is that we now have a new way to support the Manic Metallic podcast. Supporters of the Manic Metallic podcast can now show their support by either making a one-time or recurring, non-tax deductible, because we're an LLC, not a nonprofit, gift to the podcast. You can also sign up for exclusive premium content from the Manic Metallic podcast. We're looking to begin rolling out this exclusive content sometime around the beginning of next year, but you can sign up now so that you get everything from the beginning. Right now, I'm thinking that the exclusive content will consist of some extra, new, episodes of our Who Is series, since people seem to love those, a couple of What Was episodes, podcast episodes from the designer interview series, which will be starting up in the near future, and anything else that I think will bring value and enjoyment to our podcast listeners. If there's anything that you'd like to see in that exclusive content, send me an email at hello@manicmetallic.com, that's HELLO @manicmetallic.com, or DM Manic Metallic on Instagram. I'm going to leave a link to both the exclusive content and the support page in the show notes. And that's going to be it for this episode. There's a lot coming down the pipeline for Manic Metallic, and we'd love it if you stay along for the ride by subscribing to the podcast, and by rating and reviewing us, and by subscribing to the newsletter. It's going to be fun. Catch you in the next episode. Thanks for listening. If you got value out of today's episode, it'd mean a lot to me if you'd rate, review, and subscribe to the Manic Metallic podcast. Be sure to tell all of your fashion-inclined friends and coworkers about the podcast as well. This would really help us to spread our message about fashion being an art, discipline, and force for societal change. And don't forget to stay in touch with us by subscribing to the Manic Metallic newsletter and following us on Instagram. Feel free to reach out to us through either of those means. I'd love to hear from you. I'll link these all in the show notes. You're the best.